Diabetics drug. According to the Diabetic Statistics Report published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in 2017, around 30.3 million people in the US were suffering from diabetes, among which 23.1 million people were diagnosed with diabetes and the remaining were still undiagnosed. Rise in obesity, growing adoption of a sedentary lifestyle and an increase in the consumption of unhealthy diet are likely to enhance the prevalence of diabetes, which are expected to boost the market during the forecast period. Key industry developments. Accessibility of low-priced insulin supported by growing investments in R&D is likely to boost the growth of insulin segment in the global diabetes drugs market. In April 2019, Glenmark launched its patent-protected novel anti-diabetic drug remogliflozin in India. Remogliflozin is an SGLT2 inhibitor that will be used to treat type 2 diabetes mellitus in adults and will be commercialized under the brand names Remo and Rimozin. In May 2019, AstraZeneca received FDA approval to use Turnmet as an oral adjunct treatment to diet and exercise to improve glycemic control in adults with type 2 diabetes. In December 2016, Eli Lilly and Company received FDA approval to use Synjardy, a combination of empagliflozin and metformin for the treatment of patients with type 2 diabetes. Market overview. The diabetes care drugs market reached $69.7 billion in 2019, and it is anticipated to register a CAGR of over 4.5% during the forecast period, 2020 to 2025. The significant growth in the market can be attributed to factors such as the rising prevalence of diabetes and the increasing number of programs initiated by various health organizations related to health awareness. As of 2019, North America accounted for a major share in the market, followed by Asia Pacific. The increase in the number of diabetes patients is primarily due to increasing obesity among people caused by unhealthy diets and sedentary lifestyles. Based on drugs, the insulin segment holds a significant share in the market. Over 100 million people around the world need insulin, including all the people suffering from type 1 diabetes and between 10% and 25% of people with type 2 diabetes. Some of the recent developments in the diabetes care drugs market include: in January 2020, the US FDA approved Trijardy XR, empagliflozin linagliptin metformin hydrochloride extended-release tablets, to lower blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes. Trijardy XR provides 3 type 2 diabetes medicines in one pill. In September 2019, Novo Nordisk announced that the US FDA has approved Rybelsus, semaglutide, oral tablets for adult patients with type 2 diabetes. With this approval, Rybelsus has become the first glucagon-like peptide, GLP-1, receptor protein treatment approved for use in the United States, which does not need to be injected. In March 2019, Novo Nordisk announced its plan to invest about $98 million in upgrading and expanding the insulin drug manufacturing facility in Kalundborg, Denmark. The project is scheduled to be completed before the end of 2020. Regulatory requirements and drug approval process in India. Drug approval process in India. The Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940 and Rules 1945 were proclaimed by the India's Parliament to regulate the import, manufacture, distribution and sale of drugs and cosmetics. The Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, SCO, and the office of its leader, the Drugs Controller General, DCGI, was established. In 1988, the Indian government added Schedule Y to the Drug and Cosmetics Rules 1945. Schedule Y provides the guidelines and requirements for clinical trials, which was further revised in 2005 to bring it at par with internationally accepted procedure. When a company in India wants to import a new drug, it has to apply to seek permission from the licensing authority, DCGI, by filing in Form 44, also submitting the data as given in Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945. 4. Rule 122 of the Drug and Cosmetics Act says that the clinical trials may be waived in the case of new drugs which are approved and being used for several years in other countries. Section 2.4a of Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945 says for those drug substances which are discovered in India, all phases of clinical trials are required. Section 2.4b of Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945 says that for those drug substances which are discovered in countries other than India, the applicant should submit the data available from other countries, and the licensing authority may require him to repeat all the studies or permit him to proceed from Phase 3 clinical trials. Demonstration of safety and efficacy of the drug product for use in humans is essential before the drug product can be approved for import or manufacturing of new drug by the applicant by Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, SCO. Key players operating in the diabetes treatment devices market. Hoffmann La Roche Limited, Medtronic, Tandem Diabetes Care, BD, Eli Lilly Company, Sanofi.